welcome back. Recently, we bought this 47-foot West Coaster off Facebook Marketplace named Houtman, and the jobs have only just gotten started. We just finished the deck, and now we're working on the anti-foul to get this thing back in the water. As I said, here's a trick for some of the young players: acetone. Got some grime on your fiberglass that you can't get off. It's pretty harsh, but this will come. Is that even working? Should work. What's going on, guys? Job number one. This is the first thing that we wanted to do, and it's really important. It's the anti-foul. So obviously people that know, some might not, when a boat lives in the water, you have this product here. This is the blue stuff. It's on my hands. It's an anti-foul paint, basically, and it's applied to the hull, which protects you from all your growth. So your weed, mussels, all that kind of stuff. And particularly if the boat's not being used a lot, that growth can build up. It slows you down, it clogs up vents, all kinds of stuff. So you've got to really stay on it. So our first job is getting everything together and getting this hull in a position where we can apply a new layer of anti-foul products. So this is the old blue stuff. This is kind of getting brought back to a good level, and then we're going to apply a nice new black anti-foul before it goes in. But before then, I'll show you all the stuff that we've used. Again, we're no experts, but we're having a crack at it, so we'll show you what we're doing. Okay, so for our anti-foul removal, this is what we've used. I just bought this Ryobi orbital sander. Wasn't the most expensive or anything tricky, but it seems to work really well. It's not massive, but it's good. And it's got the kind of dust vacuum or the dust holder there, which helps a lot, so you don't have dust flying out onto different boats and stuff. So that's been pretty good, I suppose. Maybe something bigger would be nice. And then the different sanding pads was the really critical bit. So the 40 grit, which is here, that's obviously a lot rougher. So I used that in some of the areas that were pretty bad. There were different kind of layers of anti-foul that's been applied over the years. So the 40 grit was pretty important with that, particularly areas as well that had some barnacle growth and stuff like that to really get that off. And then I got 80 grit too, which was a good kind of in-betweener, but still pretty heavy. And that's the 120 grit. So I've just been using 120 grit on the areas of anti-foul that were pretty good and in good condition, but I just wanted to scuff it up before that new paint happened. So a lot of work. We've been going pretty hard on this, and this is everything that we needed. So the other thing that we had is a scraper. So with barnacles and stuff like that, it was pretty good to just use that after the pressure wash, and then a dust mask is obviously critical. That's all we had. There's not really that much to it, but it's just about cracking in, getting it in a good spot and getting ready for another layer. Hand sander. So there's some bits you obviously can't get the orbital in. So I bought this, like, I don't know, it's like a little, they call it a hand mouse sander. It's like, see bits like here. Oh, see, I can't even get it in. I don't really think that through. I can probably just use the pad, but like a block for bits like this that all need to be painted that you couldn't get the orbital in. That's actually better than the block. I don't want to hate on this block because obviously someone invented it, but I reckon that's way better. Anodes. Learning about them now and why they're important. More on that later. They need to be replaced, which is another expensive exercise. So doing all of this stuff all for the first time, I'm learning, which is great, and you kind of ask people for advice and stuff, but the main thing is when there's bits like this is where it gets really tricky because there's such a difference in layer. Like there'd have to be probably a couple of mil there difference. So all I've done on those spots is really just try and, like this hasn't been done properly, but sand it in so it curves in nicely and you don't have that flake which could lift off the old paint. And then in areas where it's not too bad, like you can feel, hopefully you can hear that's pretty smooth. So it's about just like doing that and getting that into a decent point, and then all this stuff, it's just so hard to get it all perfect and bring every layer of anti-foul back unless you sandblast it. But it's just about finding these little spots where it's flaky, and that could be an issue for your future paint, and just getting those nicely rounded out. So that's kind of what we're doing now. I spent about 3 days sanding this whole hull. And now I'm going to go and really these specific spots is hopefully get these in a decent spot so everyone can walk around and go, right, it's going to be pretty good for when painting's ready. But even like stuff like this, you can see there's been growth and stuff up here on the waterline where there's a bit of sun. It's like just stuff like this, just so time consuming if you want to get that back into a decent spot. another really exciting moment and key milestone in getting this boat looking good and back on the water. It's time for the new anti-foul. So out with the old blue after lots and lots of sanding, and in with the new black. The lads are just mixing up some paint, so we're ready to go. Let's do it.
So the first thing we did today was obviously wrap the boat and protect the rest of the paintwork of the boat, and then we're using an airless gun to apply the anti-foul. It's critical for a boat that sits in the water. So the first thing is it gets attacked by barnacles, marine algae, marine organisms. So the anti-foul provides that protection in the boat and protects the layers of the metal or the fiberglass. One of the key things for us is that we make sure we've got a smooth finish, as smooth as we can possibly get it, and then we use an airless gun to be able to even the layers instead of using a roller. A lot of people try and use a roller and think it's going to be thicker and have better protection. That is not the case, but at the end of the day, a smooth finish, it's about fuel. If you've got a smooth bottom, you get performance out of your boat. There's different anti-fouls for different applications. We'd give a specialist advice. On this case, it's a commercial application, so we're using a product, International Micron 1, on this boat for yourself. Every week, we've got boats coming in to be for the protection, and the guys know what's required. They know the different products, and so we make sure that those customers, you can't just go and put one anti-foul on and then change the anti-foul. So we make sure we get the advice to the clients, and we've got clients coming in year out, and we know the history of the boat.
Well, Mark, I'm very, very excited. Second coat's going on. It actually looks amazing. To break it down into 4 or 5 steps, how has it gotten from what it was to this?
So the first thing is obviously pressure cleaning, removing all the previous barnacles and algae off the boat.
Yep.
Then once it's dry, then we sand it and get a smooth finish.
One of the great things about the dockyard is you kind of get to do as much yourself and then get you guys to do stuff, can't you? So I kind of sanded this boat, but then this, I wanted a really good finish.
Yeah, one of the things we try to do is create a boating community here, and so we're happy to give free advice to people if they take it for a first time. So it doesn't matter, it's fiberglassing, applying anti-foul products, resins, all that. We're happy to share that information with clients, but yes, if they want a professional finish, we're happy to provide those skills. And we try and tell people if they're buying a cheaper boat and it's going to have some refurnish work, they can plan it over a 3-year period, but we'll identify what the priorities are so they can get out and use the boat.
Mark, in terms of timing as well, that was something to consider with this. This is going back into the water in a couple of days. What's your point of where you want to get this done before going in the water?
Well, this is probably one of the last things we put on a boat, depending on the work, but this application will take, normally a process is like 2 to 3 days.
Yep.
And it's all about fuel at the end of the day.
Yep.
So the smooth finish gives you fuel economy and obviously your budget.
It looks very good. Thank you, mate. Awesome.
Thank you.
So the boys have done a ripping job. The anti-foul looks absolutely awesome. It's now time to get the old anodes off and put some new anodes on, as well as give the proper clean up and get some prop speed on. So next step, awesome. This is the Kemp Group, so they build like amazing aluminium boats here in South Australia, very close to the dockyard.
It's got to look like it's meant to be there, because that's what you do when you do something custom. Make a start with it, and we give it a crack.
Oh mate, it looks fantastic. I love the shape of it. It's basically just an extension of the whole cabin now, isn't it? There's going to be so much more usable space.